Thought I'd do a quick update here on Hurricane Dorian, which, I mean, is all over the news. If you're trying to figure out where it's going to go, you just tune into the news. A few minutes on the Weather Channel, you can see what's up, but I thought I'd try to concentrate a little more on what I think will happen up in the areas of the Mid-Atlantic as this storm kind of rides up the coast. Right now, this thing has just been very slowly moving, if at all, over here to the Bahamas, the Grand Bahamas, and did get reports out of Marsh Harbor. There's a lot of damage here. And then this hurricane's been stalled here, so all areas that are just getting onshore flow, including the southern parts, are just inundated with water. A lot of destruction. It's going to be a lot of cleanup from that. It will never be the same down in these regions. 155-mile-per-hour winds currently. This thing is weakened just below a Category 5 hurricane now, which is just, good news. One thing, though, is as the storm gets kind of disrupted in the center, it does tend to spread the wind field higher. And because of that, we're seeing hurricane watches and warnings up the east coast of the Florida area, the peninsula. So these will extend up, and hurricane watches have moved up into the Georgia coastline. With the stall that happened overnight, that was good news. It meant that the steering currents that had been moving Dorian to the west had slackened off, and we have a little bit of a trough here in the east that's moving and causing more of a southwest and northeast wind, and we have the high pressure off to the east. They got now kind of moved and progressed to the east, and so you're getting a high pressure to the right. So a weakness in between is going to be the channel that Dorian will follow. This stall was very, very important because it meant that this progression and change was actually occurring. We do want the stall to end so that the Bahamas get in better shape. But as it moves north, you see it slowly weakening to a Category 3, then Category 2 off of the Carolinas coast. Its wind field is strong enough or wide enough that there have been tropical storm warnings into the inland parts of Florida. And, of course, like I said, the hurricane watches and warnings along the east coast of Florida, because there will be at least wind gusts in the bands from Dorian that do reach above hurricane force. So as it comes up north and gets more into our region, what is it looking like from a weather perspective, and how much can we expect rain-wise or whatever for the coastal areas? One thing we can look at, the National Weather Service does put out a forecast for the probabilities of certain winds of certain miles per hour. You can see here through the next 5 days the probability of tropical storm force winds. So this is 40 mile per hour or more. And now when you get to 50 knot, this is about 58 mile per hour wind gusts. So you can imagine this is a severe thunderstorm, wind gusting, or winds that you can expect. You can see they're scraping right into the eastern part of Florida, and then you see it bending away from South Carolina coast. But in gusts, for sure, it would not be surprising. This is dealing with the wind speeds that are sustained versus gusts. We will see gusts above tropical storm and even severe weather limits here along the coast, especially in any rain bands that make it on shore. But what you will get is this onshore flow, and that's going to cause flooding along a lot of these areas along the east coast. And having king tide side over the last week, tides have been running a little bit above normal. Tides continue to run a little bit above normal because of the onshore flow that we see here. So that is something that will be need to be watched out for. As it heads up into this area, there could be some flooding as the storm will push some water up into the Chesapeake Bay. We just have to see how severe it is at this point, how far it curves away. All that will play a factor into the type of storm surge you see along the east coast. And by the way, these winds, I think we will see some gusty winds, but mainly Norfolk area, maybe just inland, and then, of course, the coastal areas of the North Carolina and, of course, South Carolina. And then here's your probability of hurricane force winds. You see this area is pretty small, but you can see a pretty high probability, 60 to 70%, that they're going to be hurricane force winds, 50 to 60% right up there it goes as it goes, and not too far away. So a little wobble west or east will make a lot of difference because of the compact nature of the storm. Now with the disruption we're seeing a little bit around the eye, the hurricane force winds could extend further, so that can make a big difference. And we could see something called an eye wall regeneration or replacement at some point, and that can also extend the winds out some. We'll have to see. It will weaken as it moves north. Storms this strong, this powerful for this long is unlikely. The longest, I believe, is Irma, and this one is a little over, I think, 24 hours at this point, but I think Irma was like 60 or something like that. We'll have to see. be another record we'd have to watch, but it's not. It's below Category 5 now, so actually it's not true. Sorry about that. That was the strength of the storm. Will it strengthen again? It's going to get over very, very hot water. We'll have to see. I do have a worry that it could strengthen slightly a little bit as it gets away from Bahamas again, and we get into very, very warm water of the Gulf Stream here. So let's just see what happens. But as of now, it looks like it's going to maintain that strong Category 4 for a bit. So this shows you the week's rain. This is up here is really caused by a front that's coming through today. So don't concentrate on that and a few showers. This is the rain from Dorain, and you can see that it's really along the immediate coastal plain that will be the worst, and it drops off fairly quickly as you move further west. Exactly how far west it moves or where the heaviest rains will fall depends really on the track once it gets up to this region. I'd say it's pretty unsure once you get up here. You're talking 5 days out. Shifts 50, 60, 70, 80 miles, even more can happen in track, so don't be hung up on the track. Just realize you need to stay vigilant along the coastal plains. All of South Carolina has issued a mandatory evacuation today, and for people getting away from the coast, just as a precautionary measure. I suspect North Carolina, especially along the Outer Banks, will follow sometime in the next day or so, so don't be surprised. Anyway, so this is kind of the rain impacts that you're going to see, and mainly, again, towards the lower southern Maryland that we'd have to watch out for, and then, of course, the far southeast Virginia and into North Carolina, South Carolina beach areas. Those along the immediate coastal plain east of 95 are going to see the biggest impacts rain-wise. Of course, showers could make it further west. And there'll be some clouds out here to look at that are tropical-like, but that's kind of what we're looking at. I take no credit for this graphic. This was from Ed Petrowski. I probably saying his name terribly, but it's showing the chances of 74 mile per hour or higher winds. This is the hurricane force winds reaching inland. You see that only along the coast does it get to more of a 30 to 50, 40% chance of hurricane force winds. So it's all good news for that area. Now, as far as tropical storm force winds, a much higher likelihood that you're going to see some sustained winds at tropical storm level along the coastal regions. Getting up in the 75 to even higher percent chance. And you'll see this gust and the winds possibility even further inland. So definitely, going to cause some power outages, some challenges. So getting the limbs and things down that are going to fall. Cleaning up your yard is all going to be important so that you don't get flying projectiles. All right, that's the 11 o'clock update. Again, 155 mile per hour winds. The storm is pretty much stalled. Expecting to see a slow northward trend today and then pick it up in speed over time. Stay safe, stay aware, and if you're along the coastal regions, go ahead and take some action. Clean up some things, make sure that your lawn furniture is secured and your limbs and stuff like that that could blow down are taken out. You have time still to prepare for these types of things, and we'll hope for the best.